All right, this is for Monkey. Monkey, good luck. We're going to dive into Monkey's fabulous stuff, and we're going to talk about, let's jump off the topic. As much as I love to talk about my parents and my upbringing and stuff like that, it's pretty interesting stuff, and I enjoy talking about it. Let's go over to I want to hear some of the gossip. And not, we'll see if it's stuff we can talk about. I'm not trying to spread gossip. That's not what I don't want to like throw shade or spread gossip, but if there's some stuff developing that's interesting, let's talk about it. So Erik, tell me the scoop, man. What's going on? So there's a team, right? And it's go ahead.
Yeah. So So you have kind of the super team, and I was telling some of the other guys here. I go, let me mute your stream. No offense, John.
Offense taken.
So, yeah, right. So there's kind of like this super team, just like Magic has. You have these super teams that get a whole bunch of really good players on them, and they all work together. And they all share these secret lists and all their sideboard guides and all the other stuff that goes along with that. Well, the Fab super team has been Arsenal Pass, and so that's Brendan Patrick and Hayden Dale and a bunch of folks associated with their channel, because they had some good early results. And they've got some content going and all of that fun stuff. So that's kind of where this started. And so you have that. Then you have a store, not to be confused with a team, that's called Team Covenant. And they're out of Oklahoma, if I remember right. Anyway, these guys, and it's Zach Bunn and his brother Tim, very good card players. They're not Magic people. They're serial for getting into card games that die. like pretty much every game that they like has died.
So this is their life. When you say Team Covenant, not to be confused with the store. Now, are they the same?
Yes, they're the same, and they started as, I guess, a team, and it's him and his friend Steven, right?
Okay.
So, but that's a business, but don't think of it as a team. Just think of it as, like, a business. It's like if Star City was called Team Star City.
Right.
Which would be awkward, but anyway, yeah. So Zach Bunn and his brother Tim, and all of this is on YouTube, by the way. So this isn't me like bringing in hot goss and
yeah. Even though we want to act like it's hot goss,
right.
By the way, we're gonna do this a little bit differently, Monkey. I'm gonna go through these packs, and I'm just gonna listen, and I'm gonna put like big hits aside, and then after the story, we'll talk about the big hits. Is that cool, Monkey?
Yeah, I'm totally cool with that.
Yeah. All right. Awesome.
Sweet.
All right, so there's this Team Covenant.
Yeah, and they're a store and two brothers, and they're pretty good players. And Zach beat Brendan at a pretty competitive event.
Do we know which event?
It was I believe it was a Road to National event before Vegas. So. He was on Old Bravo, and Brendan was on Old Chain before the bannings. So that was like a big deal. Like, Chain was nearly unstoppable. Bravo was a kind of a toss-up of the match, but Zach beat him, so it was like, must be a pretty good player. And then they played again in, I think, Vegas, and Zach won there.
So Zach beat him twice already now.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
Clearly demonstrated he knows what he's doing.
Zach's got his number. Got it.
Right. And, so it's like, all right, well, they're looking at expanding the team, so they picked up the Bunn brothers and Dante Delfico and, like, some other folks. Like, the team got a little bit bigger, and they're kind of these, I'll call them, like, rogue actors that, pretty good players, but when you put them on a super team, now you really got something going.
Right.
So some time kind of starts to go by, as we get closer into the pro seasons and whatnot. So they're doing some testing. Brendan starts testing with people that aren't on the team. Like Zach isn't getting people to test with him because people are either on the wrong time zones. Like there's a couple Australians and New Zealanders or something in the group.
Yeah.
So there's like time problems and all this other stuff. But it starts to filter towards some of the people in the core are getting extra play time and some people aren't.
Yeah.
So that created kind of a dynamic there.
Right. There's got to be some bad feelings when you're part of a team, but you're not operating like a team, right?
Yeah. And that's really the crux of it all. So so this starts to happen, and then as we go into the pro quest season, which just concluded, I think 2 weekends ago, Brendan kept doing testing, but he was doing testing with people outside the team. Yeah, this whole proprietary information, secret lists, all this stuff isn't staying secret to the core group.
Right, because it's going. It's people are seeing it while they're testing with Brendan.
Right.
And it's going beyond, because there's not the social contract there is in the team, right? Like if you see some tech, you're part of the team, so you're not gonna obviously share it outside the team, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what's going on, and there's also a fostering of like a sub team under Patrick. That's his special extra play group. So they start developing lists that they're not sharing with the rest of the team.
Oh wow!
On top of it all,
right?
So it's like some real solid things going on there, and at the conclusion of the ProQuest season, the Bunn brothers, Dante Delfico, and I want to say a couple others, were basically told, you're not on the team anymore. And they picked up people who were winning or rather successful at more recent events. So they're cycling off, quote unquote, the worst players and picking up new good players to continue the super team.
Now, couple of things with that, right? First question is, was there a impact, right? So like we could see what kind of there was some Discord. Speaking of Discord, if you'd like to hang out with us in between streams, there's a little link down there. Click on that. So there's some Discord between the team members because some team members are not getting, the right amount of play time. And, one team member is kind of, sharing information with people who are not on the team and also testing with them. Was there ever like, hey man, like, do we know if there was ever this like confrontation, like where it was like, stop doing that, or, where they let it like be known, hey, this is not cool?
I'm not sure that they came out on the YouTube and directly addressed that piece, but it just seemed it seemed like it's a good behind the scenes look at how things can go well and not so well with a team, right? So it's kind of some frustration in communications that aren't working so well. It's, part hurt feelings and jealousy and people doing well and people not doing well. And it's like all of it went into a storm. And so this drama happens, and then Zach has said his sole purpose in life in Fab now is beating Arsenal Pass for the infinite future.
Oh wow!
It is his job to hurt them in every way at all events for the rest of everything.
Now, do you think did you get the sense from this video that they were like trying to do a little, like they were trying to drag Brendan a little bit? They were trying to, like he said, hey, he wants to hurt Arsenal Pass. Like he probably meant that in the way of like, I want to, I want to beat them like on the court, that kind of thing. But like, do you feel like some of this was being aired just to kind of like, hurt Brennan's reputation.
But I think it hurt both of them, right? Because it's like you're taking kind of things that don't get discussed about because you're a team and you're friends or we're friends and all of that.
I think it could, right? It could hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, some people could see him as the victim, right? And be like, yeah, that's not cool for Brennan to do that, right? Some people could be like, whoa, dude, like, that's not cool for you to say that kind of stuff out loud.
Yeah.
It's really, it's an interesting move from I want to say political kind of sense, but it's it's an interesting move from a social sense. Like, would you voice that kind of thing?
I'll also add that Zach and Steven are both wrestling fans, and there's a strong wrestling overtone in Flesh and Blood as a card game.
Right.
You look at it, you look at the names of cards, and some other, you can see a real influence of the pro wrestling scene.
Yeah.
So he's also talking this up as kind of like the hero and villain trope within wrestling as well. That it's like,
yeah,
you are going to be the villain now forever. And
well, they have that stuff in wrestling all the time, right? People are like in teams, and then they backstab each other. And, how could you do that? Wow, total. What do you call that when it's a backstab? It's like total.
Betrayal.
Betrayal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of, I could see that. I could see from that, like the heel mentality and building that stuff up. You could definitely see it, but also there is some truth to what's being said, I presume, right? Or, that, wouldn't be said unchecked, right? Like,
yeah.
And so, and I could see drama like that unfolding, and who knows? Like, we don't know Brennan's side, right? We don't know.
Right. Yeah, and there hasn't been a response that I've seen yet. So.
Right, because here's one thing that makes it interesting to me. Like, when Zach was being brought on, right? Was there any play testing happening between Brennan and Zach? Like, wasn't there conversations happening between them before he got brought on the team? Maybe, Zach was ousting somebody else, what I mean?
Right.
Maybe that's how Brennan, does his, checking for the team, we don't really know. I don't know. Yeah. What is the best way? The question is, what is the best way to do that? Right. If you have a closed team, what is the best way to recruit? It's probably not to break the closed loop, right?
Right.
It's probably, if you want someone on the team, they got to be brought on the team, right? And the information needs to be brought to everyone on the team so everyone could benefit. Whoo, boy. Wow. Okay, we got to take a break. I was just going through this box like, all right, we're gonna review this stuff.
What is that?
This is, my friend, it's a cold foil Heart of Ice. It's a legendary.
So it's a real cold foil?
Oh, it's so cold. Wow. It's a great hit. It's actually, and the funny thing is we already hit a cold foil with the deep blue. So we already hit a deep blue, and these boxes did not, it's not like Everfest where a lot of boxes have double cold foils. These boxes were not typically double cold foils. So when I hit the deep blue, I was like, oh, there's really nothing to see here. We'll go over the box when we're done. And wow, congratulations, Monkey. We just hit a cold foil Heart of Ice. This is a legendary. And
so you're saying that Monkey's lucky?
The feeling was
No
right.
news.
let's just put it this way.
John.
Let's just put it this way. The box is overly, everything is overtly gravy in this box at this point. I'm going to put this in a sleeve and in a top loader. Wow. What a crack. That's crazy. Yeah. So that's some drama, man.
It's pretty spicy, so it's So part of my understanding as well is that the super team didn't exist before Zach and his brother and some other folks stepped in. So it was just kind of Brendan and a couple people, and then they brought in. So it wasn't like it was super team, and then they started cycling. It was like, hey, we're going to start a team together, to dominate events. And then they got rid of core people.
And then they kicked out the founders, essentially. Some of the founders.
Yeah.
You know, but here's the thing. I think these guys are young, right? Like, Brennan, I think he's young. Like, and a lot of these guys are young. I mean, look, they're great at the game of Flesh and Blood. I don't want to take anything from them, but, I don't know. Some of that stuff, like the understanding of how there are different ways you could treat people in different ways that, it might not dawn on some of these people that, hey, it's not cool to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I think, like, to me, it's not cool, but hey, maybe other people see it a different way, like, because it's like the argument could be made, well, they want to make the best team. What are they supposed to do? Just keep the worst players if they want to make the best team?
Right.
Like, how do they do that? Well, you have to figure that out, like, ahead of time, right? Like, those are some of the hard conversations you have to have, like, ahead of time, so that if you're not like pulling in the results, hey, they could say, like, if you don't, like, this is what is required to stay on the team. If you don't make this, then you're not in, right? Which,
and I know Zach is qualified for the Pro Tour because he won a what is now a battle hardened. It's the Sunday event at a calling.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is that this Pro Tour hasn't even happened yet. They're like, oh no, we're cutting people before the Pro Tour. There hasn't been a Pro Tour that's happened. It's like, man. How can you really say that people aren't posting results at this point? It's like, there's not that many events, so I don't know. It all just like really, really felt, I don't know. There was just a lot there. I was like, ooh. Like, as soon as I watched it, I sent it to a friend because, we've been watching Team Covenant for different things. They've got Star Wars CCG videos. They've got
Star Wars,
Netrunner. That was like a big game that they had. They were big content producers for X-Wing.
Netrunner. Oh, X-Wing. Yeah, I remember that game.
Yeah. So, a bunch of games that had good OP and then died.